A Direction Forward, Season 2, Episode 2. And what I want to talk about on this one is imagination and how important it is that you don't give up on your imagination, on things that you feel are important to you and things that you want to accomplish. And I talk about that because a good friend of mine, Claudia, bless you, Claudia, posted on Facebook a short clip, about 8 minutes, on Steve Harvey. And he talks about imagination and how important it is and what he went through and overcame it. And basically, I'll post the link, to anyone that wants to, watch it. It's very informative. Basically, it has to deal with Steve Harvey talks about when he was a child in grade school, and the teacher had all the students write down on a piece of paper their name and what they wanted, what they imagined, they wanted to be. So Steve Harvey writes down his name and he wants to be on TV. So the teacher went around the room and collected all the slips of paper and read, each individual child what they had put down, and she saved Steve's for last and said, "Steve, I want you to come up to the front of the room and tell everybody what you wrote down on your paper." And he's thinking to himself, wow, I've really nailed it, man. She's really just, no one wrote this, and so I've just really nailed it. Well, the other thing I didn't know about Steve Harvey was that he had a serious stuttering problem as a child, and he could hardly even put, a whole sentence together, let alone, talk in front of a room full of his classmates. And I remember that in grade school, how terrifying that was when the teacher would call you up front and want you to repeat something or to read, in front of everyone else. It was just, you're just like, oh my goodness. But anyway, so Steve goes to the front of the room and the teacher says, "Steve, please, put down, say what you put down on your paper." So he says, "I want to be on TV." And she says, "Who in this classroom do you know is on TV? Who of all the people that you live in your neighborhood is on TV? Who do you know that's on TV? What makes you think that you're going to be on TV?" Well, he was just devastated, and I can imagine that. But he also says how small-minded this teacher was. And, he went on to not graduate from school. Went through 3 marriages. At one time, he was homeless and lived in his car for 3 years. I can't even imagine doing that. But he talks about how at some point, people use their imagination and new and inventive things are done. I mean, let's just think about the telephone. I mean, me growing up, I can remember we had the phone on the wall, and we had this huge long cord that constantly got, jammed up, that, spent more time on twisting it than being on the phone half the time. But yet at some point, there was someone that had the imagination to come up with the idea, what if we had a phone and we didn't need a cord? Think about it. And guess what? We're using cell phones now. We don't need a cord. In fact, I don't even think you can find a phone with a cord. So just, unbelievable. But yet, whoever came up with that idea, I'm sure he posted it, and sure he went to, several people and pitched it and got turned down and everything. But they did not give up. And that's what Steve Harvey talks about, is that God, every day that you wake up, means that God still has something there for you. Because there's going to be that day when you don't wake up. Well, guess what? God doesn't have anything else for you. So each and every day that we wake up, we have 24 hours to do what we want to do, to think of what we want to do. And I know for myself, I remember when I was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9, it was summertime because we didn't have air conditioning, and I was in my bedroom and the window was open. And I remember standing there and I had like a fake microphone in my hand, and I was talking. Well, guess what? I've had a TV show. I had a TV show for 9 years on cable TV, and now I'm doing a podcast with a microphone. I mean, until I watched that Steve Harvey clip, it didn't click. And trust me, I've had some problems too, not ones that Steve Harvey had, but I was born with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and I didn't walk until I was 5. And I always have to have that in the back of my mind that, if I hit myself or if I eat the wrong things or I mean, I could wake up tomorrow morning and not be able to move, not be able to brush my hair or brush my teeth. And that's a scary thought. But yet I know that each and every morning that I wake up, that God's not finished with me yet, that there's still something more that I can do. And I really and truly feel that, you know, that God has that. Again, Claudia, thank you for bringing me to that Easter service. And the preacher talked about how God, no matter who you are, what color you are, what faith you are, where you live, what you're doing, what you're, even thinking about, we are all born with our eyes, our nose, our mouth, our ears, our hands, our feet facing forward, because God wants us to go forward no matter what happens. He doesn't want us looking behind our back or saying what if or what I could have done. No, he wants you to focus on a direction forward. And that's exactly what I have done. I have focused on a direction forward. I came from California, where I lived for over 30 years, moved to Florida. Oh my goodness. Found out, the person I married was not who they said they were and was cheating on me. I had made some wonderful friends. We still talk. We still, text and everything. Had to give that up, that location up. Moved cross country by myself in 100+ degree weather with 2 dogs that weren't feeling too good, and settled in Arizona, where I have family and I had some friends, and I've made some new friends because on that trip across country, driving several hours a day, I focused on what I wanted to do, what my imagination wanted to do. And that was creating this podcast called A Direction Forward, where I can talk about things that are positive and talk about platforms and ideas and avenues where, if you are in a situation, there is a direction forward, there is a way to go forward, there is things that you can do to get out of that quagmire, and go forward. I mean, not even 6 months ago, I knew maybe 2-3 people here. I've made dozens of friends. I'm having a blast. I'm on a couple of committees. I've started doing my clay pottery again. I'm doing media platforms for various clubs, and I am just having a blast. So I know you guys can too. I know it's in there. I know your imagination is there, and don't let small-minded people stop you from whatever you visualize, whatever you want. Albert Einstein said that your imagination, is the ability to do, to go forward and to do what you want. And you got to look at that. You got to think about that and think about all the possibilities and all the goodness that comes from ideas, and use those and not be afraid to use them and not be afraid to talk to other people and to express, what you see for yourself or see for, just, anything, whether it's for yourself or for your community, for your family, for your children. I mean, really, think about children that have that Steve Harvey, that they want to be on TV. And if you were a parent and laughed at them, how demeaning that would be, instead of embracing it and say, yeah, I can see you on TV. I can see you doing something on TV. And you know what Steve Harvey has done to the teacher? I don't know if she's still alive or not, but he said every Christmas he sends her a flat screen TV because he doesn't want her to miss seeing him on TV. And I thought that was just so profound and just so unbelievable. And it made me laugh and made me think, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of people that I've met that would like to see me fall flat on my face. But you know what? That's not going to happen because I'm going in a direction forward. And I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to visualize, and I'm always going to have ideas and platforms and have people that support me. So thanks for listening to A Direction Forward. You can contact me at adirectionforward@yahoo.com. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.